Hey everyone, welcome back to BrowncoatNerd. Today we're going to be getting a first-time shooting impressions of the Savage Arms 64F. Real quick, I want to remind everyone to please go check me out on Instagram as well as Rumble. And also, if you found yourself watching a few of my videos and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider that, or at least give me a thumbs up. Alright, now on to the video. So I finally got a chance to take out this Savage Arms 64. It is in the synthetic stock. It's the OD green stock, in case that color is not really coming through on the video. I did do a initial impressions video of this, and a couple weekends ago I finally had a chance to take it out and shoot it. And as you can see, I finally did find one of these 20 round mags, which at least at the time that I purchased this were like unobtainium. They weren't available anywhere. I got on an email list. I can't remember the company I ordered it from. It was a company I've never really purchased anything from before. But they've got some in, so I went ahead and grabbed one just to have it on hand. However, these 20 round mags, it comes with one 10 round mag. This is the 20 round. Came with one 10 round mag, which is kind of a bummer. I feel like it should have at least come with two. These are mostly what I planned on using anyways. I just kind of like how they're very compact. I can throw a couple of those in my pocket. This thing is kind of not only long, but she's a thick girl, as you can see there. And I did go ahead and get another mag that I found on eBay. And I went ahead and marked that mag. I just threw a little random sticker I found. I always like to be able to tell my mags apart if I have identical ones, just in some way or another, in case I do start to get malfunctions. If I'm like, oh, it's always the one with the sticker on it, I know that mag is crap, and it's not something going on with the gun or the ammunition. So something I go ahead and recommend to people. This is one of the newer production mags. Came in the newer packaging. I did plan on getting one of these mags in the older silver packaging that still had the Indian head on it, just to kind of see if there's any difference in production quality. I haven't done it yet, but I do plan on getting several more of these 10 round mags. This 20 round mag has several mixed reviews. Well, not even really several mixed reviews. For the most part, people say it's garbage. And it is. I wanted to have one just to have on hand, and I kind of feel like I completely wasted my money with this. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, oh, you got to break them in, shoot them a lot before they function properly, and I kind of get that. I did load it up and unload it several times to kind of help try to break in that spring. Well, I say several. I'm going to be honest. I think I did that like 5 times. This thing is a pain in the butt to get completely loaded. Let me get it out here. It does come with a little mag loader, and you're going to need that for the last few rounds, or at least when it's new. So real quick, let's talk about this mag here. Took it out. I was fully well expecting some issues. And the first ammo I used was the CCI AR tactical ammunition they have. Every other freaking round would jam up on me. And of course, when it jams in a 22, it destroys that round. Not that it's really expensive, but it was kind of frustrating and also time consuming. And I'll show you what all ammo I took out. I did get quite a bit of variety of 22 to take out and run through here. And this thing just did not like anything. And of course, in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm just going to keep shooting this until it will break in. And literally, it was like every other round. I think there was one point I got through 4 rounds consecutively without a jam. And I'm like, oh, we made it. And then it was jam, shoot, right back at it. So I don't know if I'm going to mess with this anymore. I kind of want to. Because like what I've seen is a lot of people are saying you just got to shoot it a bunch before it functions, but holy crap, how much? I was just wasting so much time messing with that thing. And I was just kind of anxious too to try out the different ammunitions, get a feel for this gun, see how accurate I was with it, and this thing was just screwing with my day. So for now, we're throwing that to the side. However, these little 10 round mags that it came with, like I said, that's the original one. And I will point out, my initial impressions video, I didn't think you could do that. I thought you had to actually push that lever forward. But handling it it takes a little bit of force, but it's totally doable to lock in there without pushing the mag catch forward. So these little mags, I think they're perfectly fine. I initially was planning on sticking with these, so it's not a huge letdown that the 20 round mag was a failure. A little bit of a letdown, a waste of money too. Maybe I'll mess with it later more, but these mags seem to do just fine. So we'll get into what I took out there. The only ammo, I didn't shoot that much of this, as you can see. I didn't have room in my range bag, so I also took 2 other guns out. You'll be seeing a comparison on the Beretta 51 and the Star BM here pretty soon. Took those out to kind of do a side-by-side comparison with those. So I didn't have a whole bunch of room for this big box. So all that I shot was the 2 10-round mags loaded up with it and the 20-round mag loaded up with this. This shot fine. Excuse me. Years ago when I had my... Oh, crap. I forgot to look up the name of this freaking gun again. But when I had my Mossberg, it's their super popular semi-auto 22. I wanted to say it was the 510 Tactical. I think 5 was in there. I know Tactical was. But it's basically just a 22, kind of like this, but put into a clamshell AR case, which was kind of tacky. But it worked. And I know the majority of the time I took that gun out, that was years ago before I started this channel. I was shooting this stuff, and it worked just fine. I had no issues. I will say, which ammo was it? Okay, I remember which ammo it was, so I'll save that for when I get there. The price on this guy, in case you're wondering, let's see. I got most of this from sportsmanguide.com. I'm not sponsored, but it sure would be nice if I was. 300 rounds, that ran me $27.54. I do think I was getting the membership discount on that. I'm pretty sure like my membership was getting ready to run out, and that's when I bought a whole bunch of 22 real quick to get that on there. So $27.54 for, what was it, 300 rounds? Yeah, 300 rounds. And you'll typically see them in these little boxes like that with 300 rounds in them. Then I also ordered some CCI Standard Velocity 22 LR. I forget where I got this from. This was thrown in with an order when I got these guys for my C93. Hopefully I'll have an update on these if I ever get them to freaking fit in there. But that's another story. So I ordered these. I messed up. I thought I was ordering the either the Stingers or the Mini Mags. This showed up, and I looked at my receipt, and sure as heck, that is indeed what I ordered. So, my fault there. I was trying to get some higher velocity stuff. Mostly what I have here is just standard velocity. This stuff shot just fine. I don't have my receipt with that, so I can't tell you how much it ran me. That's approximately how many rounds I shot through there. Then we have MagTech. I shot through this whole box. I picked this up when I purchased or not purchased the gun, but picked up the gun for my FFL at Centerfire Shooting Sports. $6.99. I'm sure I could have gotten it cheaper online, but I felt really weird bringing home a gun, not having ammo for it. And no, you guys watch my channel, you know I got plenty of guns here for self-defense. It's not like I was like, oh, I need ammo for self-defense. It was just weird not having ammo for a gun. So I saw a box there, grabbed this, shot through this whole box just fine. Standard velocity, 40 grain. Does it say what the velocity is? It does not. And then I guess I should go back to these. These are standard velocity, 40 grain. 1,200 feet per second, which I think is just a little higher than standard velocity. 40 grain. Here, this has got the listed standard velocity at 1070. Then we had some Federal Champion. The Federal Champion, that came from Sportsman Guide as well. That ran me... I'm not freaking seeing it. There we go. Let's see. I ordered 2 of them, so it's $3.22 per box. Not bad at all. This is like, what did I say? 40 grain, 1240 feet per second on that guy. And I've seen some people really rave about this ammo, and then some people also really knock it. So I don't know if there's a bad batch out there or what. But I shot through a box of that. That's my full box still, obviously, if you heard it rattling around. And then I was really curious because I've seen a lot of videos on this stuff pop up. The CCI Quiet 22. This is the semi-auto. They got two different quiets. There's one for bolt action and there's one for semi-auto because it's such a reduced velocity, which is 835 feet per second with a 45 grain bullet. The semi-auto specifically, obviously, is so your semi-automatic action will still run. That also came from Sportsman Guide. That ran me $474 for this box. I shot the whole box. This is the one ammo I was hoping that would work, that I was thinking would work. And I did get a few failures with it. And again, obviously with all of this ammo, because I did try it all other than the quiet stuff, through that 20 round mag. That 20 round mag did not like anything. But I did get, I think like 3 or 4 malfunctions or stovepipes with this ammo here. Once again, I don't know if I got this gun a little more broken in, if that might be, something that would be alleviated, or if that's just how this ammo runs in this gun. I've seen lots of videos where people have no issues with this. But even then, for what this is, a few, 4 jams out of 50 rounds, that's not terrible. And I actually did take it to an indoor range because I really wanted to see how accurate this stuff was. And this stuff was notably quieter than the other stuff, especially in the indoor range, because that, being indoors, it kind of amplifies that sound. So this was kind of fun. It was kind of neat. I'm pretty sure I could shoot that outdoor without any ear protection and not flinch from it or make my the ringing in my ears that I already have any worse. So yeah, had a few malfunctions with this, nothing major. And then I just had to try it. And as you can hear, I didn't shoot a whole bunch of this, but I went ahead and got the standard CCI Quiet 22. Now this is for bolt action guns. They do not advertise this to function in a semi-auto action. This is a 40 grain bullet traveling at 710 feet per second. Once again, I got this from Sportsman Guide, and it's the same price as the semi-auto quiet at $474 for a box of 50. And exactly like I predicted, it didn't really jam in this gun. Well, I take that back. There were a few stovepipes, but all you had to do was just pull back on the action, clear it, and you're back in business. It wasn't like it jammed everything up. I didn't have to pop out the mag and, rack the action a couple times. It was a very quick clearance of this ammo. So just kind of go into expecting to have a, straight pull bolt action. And this was a little bit quieter than the semi-auto at the indoor range. It wasn't substantially quieter. Of course, I did have, my hearing protection in and everything. So maybe if I did that outdoors without hearing protection, I might be able to notice a little more of a difference. But I was just really curious. So I had to try it. I had to try it. And the outcome was exactly as I predicted, as anyone would predict, and it just kind of doesn't work. So accuracy with this, I've seen a lot of people say that these sights are way off when you get it out of the box. For me, the windage was spot on. It was shooting a little high for me. Yeah, I had to remember back. It was shooting a little high for me, not very much at all. I did not bother trying to adjust the rear sight. I was thinking about just taking it down one notch. I'm pretty sure that's all I've got to do. But I just kind of wanted to keep everything consistent across the board. So I just kind of Kentucky elevated it a little bit, and I was getting fairly decent groups. Another thing I discovered, this really sucks. I'm getting freaking old, guys. These sights, which I really like because they're just simple and basic, and I didn't want anything fancy, were not the easiest for this boomer. Ugh, I can't believe I'm saying that, but I guess I am one now. I'm in like my early mid-40s. Was not the easiest to do. One thing you can do, you can put a little rail on here and put like a red dot, or you can get some small scope rings and put a scope on there. Once again, I was not really planning on doing any of that. But now after taking it out shooting, I'm probably going to end up putting, at the very least, just a cheap red dot on there or something. I still don't think I'm going to do the scope thing. But I'll probably end up putting a cheap red dot. I wasn't wanting to, but yeah, I kind of need to. So there's that. But even then, my accuracy wasn't horrible. One thing that also kind of sucked, and I'm curious if all of you out there that have one of these 64s, if you're having the same issue, whenever I would lock the action back like that, insert a new mag, and then close the action, never once did it actually strip off a round off of that mag. So, being at the indoor range, obviously, you got to leave your action open. So, like I said, I was shooting a few different guns. So whenever I go to this, and that was locked back, I'd throw in a fully loaded mag. I'd do that, and then I'd just have to rack it again. Like I said, it literally never once stripped off a round from just closing the action. So that was a little frustrating. Because like every single time I was going up to shoot, it would just be click and nothing. And so then it just got to the point where, I drop the action and then just immediately rack it again. And, other than the quiet ammo and that crappy-ass 20-round mag, no issues whatsoever. I was kind of hoping that would go away eventually with shooting it. But yeah, it seems like I'm just going to have to rack that action every time before I shoot around. Which isn't a huge deal. This is not a, home defense gun or anything like that. This is just for out plinking, shooting around at the range. So, as long as you remember that, it's no big deal. Even if you don't, you're going to realize it really quick when you pull that trigger and nothing happens. Some of the things I complained about in my initial impressions video on this, one were the sling swivels. They were both kind of cockeyed. And I was thinking maybe I can just take the action out of the stock, and was hoping there'd be like a bolt holding that in there. I think I watched someone else's video of them taking it out, and I realized these are just screwed directly into the stock. So I just took one of my punches, stuck it through that hole, and just went, eek, and straightened it out right away. Super simple. So no big deal there. I will say, I don't know if you can see that, the finish is not great. It took a little bit of the finish off there, just from putting the hole punch in there. And a little bit back here. Now this is a super cheap gun. So what can you expect? But I was just kind of like, dang, that didn't take much at all. So, not the best finish on those. I mean, honestly, to me, not a huge deal. I doubt I'm ever going to put a sling on this. One of the other things I complained about on this gun is the older 64s will have a little dot for fire, and that's painted red. On the newer ones, apparently they just have an F and an S, and neither one's color-filled. And I kind of really knocked them, and I stand by that, for not at least color filling the F with red. Because this, for the most part, is a youth rifle. A lot of people getting this rifle, this is going to be their first exposure. So that's kind of a little more important to make sure that whoever's shooting this, most likely a youth, knows that that gun's on fire when it is. And that's such a simple and cheap thing to do. I think Savage is still a bunch of cheap asses for skipping out on that. If it was any other gun, I wouldn't really care. But this being a youth rifle, primarily, they really should have done that. And yes, it's super easy to do yourself, and I plan on doing it myself. But they should have done that out of the box. At least, I don't care about the S being color-filled, but color-fill the freaking F, So, while I had it out shooting, and I'm still kind of new to this gun, example here, there were several times I'd take it up to go shoot, and I'd pull the trigger, I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, well, it's on fire. Because you're looking down at it like this, it's not real obvious where safe and fire is. And then I kind of put it outside, I'm like, oh, no, I'm not in fire, So, if I'm doing that, taking this gun out, shooting it for the first time, you darn well know that, new shooters are going to do that as well. So, Savage, first off, I know no one from Savage is going to watch this. That's crappy. Freaking color fill the fire. Like, I don't... Charge me another $3 on this freaking rifle and color fill that thing. This is a youth rifle. This is a beginner rifle. That's not something to cut corners on. I think that's pretty crappy. So kind of going back to some of my early complaints about this gun. All in all, am I happy that I got this? Yeah, I am. For the price I paid, is pretty darn cheap. Can't complain too much. I am a little bummed out that the 20 round mag didn't work. However, going into it, I was kind of aware that it probably wasn't going to. And also, like I said, I'm primarily going to be sticking with these 10 round mags. It's just they're a lot more convenient to throw in your pocket than those 20 round mags. So it's not a huge deal. I know some of you, that's going to be a huge bummer. You want that high, capacity mag. If you're looking to get one of these 64Fs, just, if you want to get a 20 round mag and see if it works for you, sure, go for it. But don't plan on it. Just plan on sticking with the 10 round mags if you get one of these. If you're dead set on getting something that holds 20 or 30 round mags, don't get this. That's all I can say on that. The other thing that bummed me out was how it was not stripping around off on a fully loaded mag when I first dropped that bolt. That was a little annoying, and like I said, once I kind of realized it wasn't going to happen, I just, once I dropped that bolt, I'll just rack it real quick. And that pretty much fixed the issue. It's not a huge deal. Like I said, this is just going to be kind of a plinking, having fun gun. So it's not like I need something that's like, oh my god, my life's depending on it, drop the action and forget to rack the slide. I'm not going to be in that scenario ever. So not a huge deal breaker. It does kind of suck, but once again, like I said, you got to look back at what you're paying for with this rifle. They're pretty darn cheap, so don't be terribly surprised. Other than that, though, this gun worked fine. Like I said, I'm not really going to include the quiet ammo because this is kind of oddball ammo. This stuff obviously will not work. Well, I mean, it does, but it's not going to... Excuse me, a little belchy there. It's not going to, wreck the action for you. This stuff, like I said, I think I got the 4 failures. Really easy to clear. I was, right back at it. For the most part, these did work. I shut the whole box, and I just had those 4 malfunctions. But all this other stuff, worked just fine. And, for what this gun is, basic, cheap ammo, they do recommend using the standard velocity. It's kind of part of the reason I wanted to get some of the stingers or the mini mags. Just to kind of see what it would do. I've seen plenty of videos of people shooting it, but I just wanted to see if I was like, oh, you could feel a little more of a kick. I don't know if that's possible because it's a 22, but yeah. So just wanted to bring this video to you guys. It does work. The 20 round mag that I threw off in the corner of the room, I'm just going to leave there, does not. It's your choice if you want to. You're going to have to shoot it a lot in any hopes of that working. And I don't know if it ever will. And like I said, I wasted a bunch of ammo on it. Thank God it's 22, so it's not a whole lot. But I honestly would not waste my time with that. Just stick with these little 10 round mags. Your common ammunition is going to work. Accuracy, I was pretty happy with. Like I said, I kind of discovered my vision is definitely not what it used to be. So I probably will end up putting some kind of an optic on it, even though I wasn't planning on that. But that's not a huge deal. I can, get some cheap red dots on here that I'm sure will work fine. So that is it, guys. All in all, I am happy with this purchase. Do I recommend it? Yes, as long as you realize you're not paying a lot. You're getting a cheap gun. It functions really good for the price. You don't have to rack that slide an extra time. The trigger pull felt nice. I probably will eventually get some like M-Carbo springs put on here, but it's not like I was like taking it out, shooting it. I'm like, oh man, I definitely need to get those springs. They're cheap, so I'll probably just go ahead and do that. And then, especially if you're getting it for, youth in your family or first time shooter, if you're getting one of these new ones, I would definitely color fill that red. Because like I said, I kept pulling it up thinking I had the safety off. Because I'm not used to this safety. It's not abundantly clear to me, forward or back is fire. So, yeah, plan on color filling that. Plan on sticking a punch through your sling swivels. I was grabbing onto the rear one, realized you couldn't realize what I was pointing at. Sling swivels, you're going to have to adjust those a little bit. The sight, I'm going to adjust it one notch on the elevation. Windage was dead on. I was pretty happy with that. So yeah, I do recommend this gun as long as you're aware you're getting a cheap 22, but it works pretty darn good for a cheap 22. So yeah, this is my first time initial shooting impressions on the Savage 64F. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and of course, as always, stay safe and stay shiny.